welcome to Let's Play Gran Turismo 3, episode 64. Alright, so we have just 2 sections left now in arcade mode, as of which we have cleared 24 of 34 tracks in this game, and as of which, for the remaining 2 areas in this game, it moves down from 6 tracks to 5 tracks, and officially from this we also unlock 4 cars this time from completing these 2 areas, notably areas E and F. And then officially, once we are done with arcade mode, we can basically finish off the Amateur League, which officially unlocks ending movie B. But before we do that, let's of course get through this section, and where officially I think the car I'm going to use for this as well, I want to use the Chevy Camaro. Actually no, I've changed my mind. I'll use the RX-8 for this. And just to be independent, yeah, sure, why not. Yeah, I'm just thinking about these decisions quite randomly and then just deciding which ones should be which overall. But officially, there's now time for Area E, and where I've now decided I'm using the Mazda RX-8. Which, oddly enough, is another car I have not used in this game so far. And also furthermore, this thing has quite a high revving engine, because it revs up to 9,000 RPM for a rotary engine. Considering obviously this is basically the concept design they came up with before they produced the actual itself, and I'm pretty sure that's the rotary engine I can hear in the background. Meanwhile, I am now up into 2nd position, looking for the lead, and getting a snap of oversteer there, as of which I'm trying to defend hard from the 2 Lancer Evos who are now currently fighting with me for the lead. As of which I am of course trying to hold on to the lead at the present time. Whilst we are here of course at Route 11. I don't know why I keep shifting down into 1st when I probably shouldn't. Guess it's probably because of how long each gear is in this car, because these are some pretty long gears in my honest opinion. At least, that's probably what I can say about 1st gear in my honest opinion. And it now looks like it is the 2 rotary cars that have taken both 1st and 2nd in this race, as of which obviously the RX-7 being the 2nd of the 2 rotary cars and myself being the 1st. And as far as I know, I don't think the FC is in this race, but obviously as far as I know at the present time, I can basically just say to myself, Trebissimo. As it now looks like, yep, the Evo 6 has now taken the 2nd position away from the FD, so I assume the 2nd position for the FD was only temporary. Meanwhile, I am still leading this thing as it stands at the present time. And the gap is currently 2.7 seconds to the Evo 6, as which the RX-8 at the moment is doing a valiant job of holding on to the lead. And following the trial and tribulation that was Apricot Hill in arcade mode, because I was competing against prototypes, obviously the competition in this race seems to be a lot more settled, at least in terms of overall margins, because, oh okay, the Jag now takes second position, so they must be swapping positions pretty much lap after lap at the moment, even though I'm doubtless in saying that probably won't last, because somebody has got to be the eventual decider for the second position in this race. Meanwhile, I'm basically just hoping I can lead this thing pretty much from here up to the end. And the Jag is now closing in, so he must have some speed down that front stretch before heading into the first corner. He must have some speed as we now head through this chicane, and heading of course into this 90-degree right-hander, which is quickly followed by a left-hander and then a pair of hairpin turns before another chicane. So 2.6 seconds currently the margin. And having to shift down into first gear because I think I was losing too much speed through that second hairpin as we now head through this very peculiar looking chicane, and we now head through another one of the hairpin turns, as of which this course basically has a lot of hairpin turns, although not as many as Tahiti Maze, because that's basically hairpin turns galore in my honest opinion. As we are crossing under another bridge and continuing to officially put ourselves up to the point. As we are now coming through this final sequence of corners, the Jag has definitely closed in, so the Jag XKR has definitely got some pace, and this could very well be where the challenge officially starts between myself and the AI. Very much the sort of challenge that I was not expecting to happen, because I would have almost thought for sure I was going to be comfortable out in front, but apparently at the moment that is not turning out to be the case. As of which, I would say at the moment I'm just managing to narrowly hold on to the lead in fact. And that's all. And I think the gap has now pretty much just been eradicated from what I previously had to the Jag, as of which the gap is now over a second. So the Jag has definitely got some speed, and I might as well make a confirmation of that. The Jag definitely has some speed, it is confirmed. The Jag has picked up his pace with his acceleration in gearing over these past couple of laps, and he is right on my ass. This is probably the sort of race that I was probably waiting for, even though obviously at Apricot Hill my win streak already ended up to there, because, well, unless I had a powerful enough race car, there was probably no way that I was going to compete against the prototypes in the Gillett Vertigo, so I pretty much decided to concede on that occasion. Meanwhile, I'm still battling the Jag XKR for the first position at the moment, and we still have 1 lap to go, so the Jag has definitely got some speed since he took the second position. Speedy wasn't able to display in the early parts of this race, but now that we are into the closing stages of this race, he has definitely proven what he is truly capable of. There is no doubt about that, officially. Anyways, final lap, as we are now 1.5 seconds clear of the Jag through Sector 1, probably because we have the stronger cornering speeds than the Jag does. So, rotary versus V8. The Pride of Britain against the Pride of Japan. Who will win? Hopefully it will be me, but if it isn't, then I will be largely disappointed. Although hopefully not. Anyways, this is now the final lap. So, this is quite a good old scrap for the lead at the moment, as of which the Jag is not letting me extend my interval by too much up to this point. And I'm pretty certain that since I don't have a replay saved at Route 11 yet in arcade mode, this might as well be where I save my 4th replay in arcade mode. Because I like to spice it up a bit. So heading through the final chicane now, before going into the final right-hander, as we head past the Ferris wheel, and there of course is pit road, and heading under the main grandstand, and after defeating the Jag, it is going to be victory at Route 11 to start off the segment by 2.5 seconds. The Jag really had some pace in that race, and meanwhile the FD did eventually manage to beat both the Evo 6 and the Evo 7, whilst the 300SX, he was basically just biding for most of that race. Fortunately, however, I did emerge on top, in spite of me having a high revving engine and also having quite long gears, in a way, so yes. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, this is, yeah, I just remembered this is 64. Yeah, okay. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm just getting confused again. So, 1 race down and still 4 to go. Let's now head over to Deep Forest Reverse, where I have a plan for this circuit. And that plan is going to be myself using the... yeah, let's use the Subaru Legacy. Why not? Because this is another car I've not driven yet. So dropping down from Class A to Class B, because of how short the circuit is, and officially this could very well be where I can finally give this thing the recognition it deserves. And overtaking the Clio now for second position, and heading down the inside of my fellow Subaru Legacy, as of which I do now manage to take the first position away from the other Legacy, and hopefully this is where I will mostly manage to hold on to the lead. So 1.6 seconds now the gap to the Clio, as of which obviously the Clio is proving to be a lot more competitive in arcade mode than it was, of course, in simulation mode. Considering in simulation mode he was proving to be a lot less competitive than he is currently proving here in arcade mode, so I'm going to suspect arcade mode must be where the Clio V6 can really show what he is capable of, and that's a win. Even though obviously I still need to concentrate on the circuit and not just keep slapping the wall every time I head through the first corner. And even though this car is the slowest of the Boxer Spirit cars, at the very least I am wanting to give this thing some recognition as being a worthy winner, even though obviously at the moment this thing has not necessarily had a lot of luck in proving that. But I am hoping this will be the race that manages to correct that, and hopefully, if it is possible, this will be a hopeful victory, maybe. As we head through the hairpin turn now for the second time here at Deep Forest Reverse. The Clio is keeping up with me. He is not allowing me to extend my lead at the moment, as I'm just having a sip of Fanta just to keep my voice alive. And this time I did not reprise the mistake I made on the previous lap. And again, I do apologise if you can hear rubbing on my microphone. That's basically the plastic cup I'm using for the drink to just keep me energised. And fortunately, however, it does look as though a win is doable with the Subaru Legacy, even though obviously it has certainly not proven itself as being a race-worthy winner, unfortunately. But of course, I am just managing to hold on to the lead at the moment ahead of the Clio, who is still right on my ass, as of which obviously rubber banding also playing a part, because the AI appear to be stronger on the reverse circuits in certain instances, such as this one, than they are the normal circuits. And this is definitely the sort of battle that I, of course, have been pretty much waiting to see. As we are now heading of course through the first corner once again. I went a little wide there on the stretch before the first corner, as of which there is also an odd kink before heading into the second corner of the reverse course. And oh shit, yeah, the Clio definitely gave me a bump there. So the Clio is definitely proving to have some pace, there is no doubt about that. He could have easily overtaken me for the lead if he wanted to, but nope, he decided to bump me. Probably because he knew I was going to throw the block. Because of how aggressive his AI can be on the reverse courses. So basically, a supercharged V6 Renault Clio against a Boxer 4-stroke engine for basically 5 laps around Deep Forest Reverse. And I think my entry into the corner that time was clean because I had my left side tyres on the curb. Unfortunately, I have managed to hold on to the lead for this long in the event. So a win up to this point, I would imagine, is definitely doable with the Subaru Legacy. And again, the Clio bumps me, as I expected him to do through turn 3. We are both literally neck and neck as we head through this sequence of corners. We're pretty much mano-y-mano at the moment, and we're side by side heading through the tunnel. I do manage to rightfully throw the block before the Clio attempts anything, because I have to keep defending in order to hold on to the race lead. And heading through the corner, hoping he does not pull off a dive bomb. I am covering the inside line. I also have 4-wheel drive, which means I have the traction to hold on to the first position through the corner. And I'm just going to manage to win at Deep Forest Reverse. Jesus Christ, I had to work for that one. That was insane. So the Clio finished in second, then the Silvia S15 in third, followed by the other Legacy fourth. Then it was the Silvia S13 in fifth, and then at the back it was once again the Legacy wagon. Or, as Chris Harris would call them in the UK, the Legacy estate. I think that's what we call them in the UK, but whatever. I just call them wagons, because I'm not that bothered. Anyways, 2 tracks down and still 3 to go. And fortunately this time we do not have to go to any rally tracks for this section, so let's head over to Route 5 Reverse, and where officially I think the car I'm going to drive for this is going to be... well, I've driven most of these, but I think I'm now going to drive... yeah, let's drive the Calsonic Skyline, because I want to. So yeah, let's do that. Driving the Calsonic Skyline for Route 5 Reverse, because I want to. And as I suspected in this race, we have a twin sibling, because we are both driving the same car. Anyways, closing in on the leaders and already making a dive for 5th position. Arcade mode rubber banding definitely proving, of course, to be stronger in the latter stages compared to the early stages of these tracks. And already I am up, of course, into the second position, as I am now trying to see if I can make a bid for the lead. Thought for sure I was going to get a snap of oversteer, but fortunately not. And down the inside of the Supra we go, and up into the lead for the first time. Oh, bollocks. I could not get off the curbs. Yeah, my right side tyres were on the curbs, and since I noticed I couldn't get off them, that was exactly what caused me to oversteer. Fortunately, however, I am still out on track, and officially I have now opened up an interval of 1.333 seconds. Basically a third of 3 seconds, thanks. Oh crap, okay. It's alright, it's fine. I've got everything under control. Everything is good. We are now 2.5 seconds clear of the Supra. Try my hardest to get through the rest of these corners. To which I have now managed to eke out an interval to the AI, so I think it's fair to say that because we are back to the under 500 horsepower cars, I would say overall we are pretty much back, of course, to the easy leagues of arcade mode. So 2 laps are down and still 3 to go, as of which I have, of course, driven all 3 of the Super GT NSXs, and this, of course, would also account for me driving 2 out of 3 of the Super GT Skylines, because I've driven the Loctite's XL Skyline, as you can probably see in one of my earlier arcade mode videos, and ultimately, at the moment, I am proving, of course, to be mostly successful at the present time. And onwards to the 4th lap we go. Probably also going to take a sip of my drink whilst I'm here. Again, I do apologise if you can hear any rubbing on the microphone. That's just me sipping from my cup, like I said before. And now I can say I have definitely eked out an interval to his AI. But again, it's fine, because I am still driving hard. As we officially head through the final corner once again, which is basically the tunnel, which is basically the tunnel turn in some instances, and we now start the final lap here at Route 5. And the gap is now 9.6 seconds to the Supra. So I'm gradually continuing to extend my lead pretty much lap after lap in this race, as we are now on the final lap here, of course, in Route 5 reverse. Keeping the thing in third gear so I do not spin the tyres, and hung a little bit on the pavement there, but fortunately there was a guardrail there for me to not rack my car somewhere up in the distance, as of which I have managed to not crash in this race so far, and it doesn't look like I am going to crash in this race. I have got enough of an interval to the Supra, and it is going to be another domination run, and with it a new fastest lap to compensate. So there we go. I win! And my twin sibling finished last in that race, behind the Turismo and the Loctite XL GTRs. Also, the Arta NSX finished in third behind the Supra. So the Skyline wins the race, but oddly enough, the other Skylines were basically in the bottom three. How ironic. Anyways, 3 tracks down and still 2 to go. As we have still got Seattle Reverse and Monaco to get through. So let's get through Seattle, and for this I'm going to drive the Toyota Castrol Tom's Supra, because I've already driven the Denso Sard Supra. So yeah, let's do that, because I want to. So, the 4th track in Area E, and then we have just 1 track remaining in this section of arcade mode, and then we have just 1 area of arcade mode left, and we were going too wide into the corner, as of which I suspected we were going to be too abreast when we entered the chicane, although fortunately the NSX, however, got the worst end of it. So, 2 Toyota Castrol Toms Supras in this race, as of which I am now in the 2nd position at the moment. Meanwhile, the Falcon is trying to see if he can close up that interval to me. And he does also give me a nudge in the process, but fortunately I am able to put myself into the 2nd position behind my twin sibling, who is currently leading this race. As we go across the Seattle jumps, heading downhill into the final hairpin turn, I hit the inside wall. The Falcon is also looking like he wants to be a contender in this race, although at the moment, of course, he is not proving to have any pace, unfortunately. Oh, shit. Yep, okay. There was no way 2 abreast into the chicane was going to work. Although, fortunately, however, I was at least able to slot myself into the position of taking the lead. I was pretty much on the racing line. My twin sibling, meanwhile, was trying to defend it hard from me, and unfortunately, like I said before, he got the worst out of that incident. Meanwhile, I benefited from that incident because I took the lead. And it looks like from here it's going to be a pretty close finish because the AI seem to interact with the reverse circuit more than they do with the normal circuit. As of which at the moment I am using mostly race cars. And made some contact with the inside wall. Fortunately, however, I am of course managing to hold on to my interval as we now start the third lap here in Seattle, and a little bit of contact there with the outside wall. Fortunately, however, I am of course managing to hold on to a narrow lead over my twin sibling Castrol Tom's Supra, who is currently running in second. And I think the Denso Sard Supra has now fallen back, from what I can make out. Even though he will be trying his best to take away the second position. As I am still scraping the fucking guardrails every lap. And can also see the Space Needle in sight beyond those skyscrapers. And I almost got loose there on the jump. Fortunately, however, I was able to catch it before I oversteered, and my twin sibling trying to go for a darting move down the inside. Fortunately, however, he was not late enough on the brakes to mount a challenge, so I just went up the lead. So, 3 laps down and still 2 to go here in Seattle. So, 3/4 of a second is now the margin. At the end of what I think is... sorry, at the start of lap 4. And the gap is now just under 1.8 seconds. As we now head through this final hairpin turn once again, keeping it in 3rd gear so I do not get any oversteer. As we now head onwards to the 5th and final lap here in Seattle. Heading through the death chicane once again, and pretty much scraping that outside wall pretty much every lap. Fortunately, however, this is not a license test, so I can basically scrape that outside wall as many times as I want to, even though I don't. And it looks as though his AI up to this point in the race are pretty much evenly split, so yeah, that's my only real contradiction to this. Although I am willing to take a gamble for Monaco, however, because I am wanting to see if there is a gamble that might actually pay off. Anyways, 2.8 seconds, pretty much the interval now. As we head down into the hairpin turn now for the final time. Pretty much a square-shaped hairpin turn in my honest opinion. I do manage to keep it all nice and clean, and it is victory at Seattle Reverse. So pretty much every circuit up to this one, except for Apricot Hill, I have managed to sweep. So 1, 2, 3 for the Toyota Supras, then it was the Ford Falcon in 4th, followed by the Arta NSX, and then at the back for the DTM it was the CLK. Anyways, it is now time for the last track of Area E, which is Monaco, or in other words, the final track of Area E. And where I have been thinking about this, and I think it probably is worth the risk because the AI don't appear to be as competent around this circuit as they do others, so we're going to use the gun at Vertigo, and hopefully this time I will actually manage to win it this time, as of which I'm going to take a sip before we do this. Just charging myself up for this race, and hopefully, if it is possible, the gamble might actually pay off this time, because we are in Monaco, and from what I have worked out in the past, the AI don't appear to get around Monaco as swiftly as they would other circuits, and since I know this is mainly decided on low speed corners, I might be able to win it this time, hopefully. And darting down the inside of the R390, he gives me a nudge for good measure and pretty much pushes me out into the second position, and it now looks as though I am going to challenge the Pagani Zonda for the lead. Looks as though the Vertigo is going to get a shot at going for top honours, even though I got boxed in at the Nouvelle Chicane right before the Harbour Strait, just getting a look at those luxury yachts, and officially heading down through the swimming pool section now, or in other words the pool chicanes. Before what I think is the Variante Alta before La Rascasse, and still behind the Zonda at the moment, but I'm pretty confident in saying there might be a shot in me winning this as we head through the corners, because I appear to be stronger than the AI through the corners, even then of course if they have their largest intervals over me down the straights, anyways. So the Zonda still holding on to the lead position at the moment, might be able to go for a move through Mirabeau, exiting Casino Square. He tries to box me in, but he knows his manoeuvre was too late, because I was already committed to the inside line before he could shut the door on me. He's trying to give me some payback through Portier, and he's doing that perfectly, but it won't help him retake the lead because I am still very much holding on to the position, and I do of course manage to sustain first position as we head through the Nouvelle Chicane, and I'm now leading at Monaco for the first time. Maybe this will be the circuit where the Gillet is finally going to manage to get some redemption over the heartbreaking loss it suffered at Apricot Hill, which is basically the only course I really had trouble with so far, but fortunately, when I managed to change cars from this over to the Viper, I did eventually manage to secure the win at Apricot Hill, even though obviously this was not the car to do it, and now I decided I would use this car once again. I think that line is meant to be how tight Monaco really is, but obviously since Polyphony widened this version from what the FIA would usually have at Monaco, that's basically the main reason why this version of Monaco is wider. Because realistically, I do hate the real-life version of Monaco because of how tight that circuit really is, and because of how you literally cannot overtake around Monaco. And the R390 has now taken the second position away from the Zonda, as I am still continuing to get tons of oversteer through these corners, but managing to hold on to the racing line as we head down the bus stop stretch into Saint-Devote, up the hill now into the Hotel de Paris, and then following this is Casino Square before we drop down into Mirabeau, and then it is Lowe's Happen. So heading past Casino Square now for the fourth time in this race. The R390 is really chewing down that gap as we head through Mirabeau and Lowe's Happen before the Portier, as we head into the blinding sun once again, literally, before the tunnel turn. Oh shit, that's a wall. I need to focus on where the actual racing line is, anyways. Onto the bus stop stretch we go once again, to starting the final lap now here in Monaco. One more time around, and then the victory shall hopefully and willingly be mine. I know this may not necessarily be fun to you as the viewers, but obviously it's fun to me because, well, that is how close the racing is. But officially, what I can say about this as well, it is definitely doable to win at Monaco driving a Gillette Go, as Rhino GT4 has proven before in the past. It is possible to win at Monaco using this car, as of which he notably proved that by winning the Monaco 78 laps, or Mistral 78 laps as it is called, in the endurance events, which surprisingly he did actually manage to win in the end, unfortunately. Although obviously that's probably not going to be the car I'll use for that event, because I don't have this car in my garage, unfortunately. Anyways, through the bus stop section we go, and that is 29 of 34 tracks now cleared. So 1 by 1.8 seconds in the end over the R390. The Zonda finished in 3rd, followed by the Chevy Camaro, then it was the Viper GTSR in 5th, and then at the back it was the other Vertigo. For the finishing order here at Monaco, and just for confirmation purposes, yep, I do have a replay saved, and yes. Okay, let's now check our progress, as of which we have now unlocked our last section of arcade mode, which is Area F, and we shall of course be doing that in the next segment. And the reason why it says Route 5, well, because you will find out. Because I don't want to reveal any spoilers. Anyways, 67.5% complete now with this game, following our success in Area E. And next time we shall be doing the last section of arcade mode, which is Area F. And so with that, stay tuned for more of GT3 arcading stuff, or arcade stuff, whatever.